But we coming from the West, we might see this generosity, and whatever we have the feeling something is for free, we stuff ourselves up to the rim. If something is free, we have to take everything what we can take in our both hands,
Just looking at all the food was make you full. You just couldn't eat anything. It was just so much. Your saliva glands would run dry.
Yeah?
It's the opposite for me, I would say. Just looking at it, you have like insatiable appetite. Which is strange. You think that why am I wanting more? Why am I taking more?
Because it's free. If you have to pay, you eat until you're full, and if you don't have enough money, you count it, you decrease the amount. There's some mind. Maybe you ask him. But I've seen it so often. If something anyway in the West is given for free, people just stuff it in, until they get blown. Because there's something so unusual. But also what happens, I'm not 100% sure, but often people have the assumption or make the assumption that if something is free, it has no value, or it has less value. So the more you pay for something, the more value it seems to have. So if you get something for free, you value it less than if you have to spend a lot of money on it. You think you can agree with that? So what happens then to a Dhamma that is given for free in comparison to Dhamma that is sold in the marketplace? You don't value it as much. If you come here to this monastery and you would have to pay for a week $1,000, you would make the utmost of every minute. You wouldn't waste any minute, with foolish things. You would just, try to get the value of your money. And now it's for free. Oh, I'm tired. I want to go to sleep, huh? Oh, now there's food. Okay, let's have something. Huh? But it's only our view of the things. It has nothing to do with the Dhamma itself. Huh? But the Dhamma costs, they cost $500 a week. They're all booked out. And what do they get? What do the people get in these Dhamma instructions? Is of course what they want to hear. Not what is in line with the truth. What they want to hear. If they don't get what they want to hear, they don't pay the money. But if they go to a place where the Dhamma is free, of course then it often happens that they hear something that they don't want to hear. But what is in line with the truth? That's why there's no reason, or that's the reason why we should not sell Dhamma. Because the moment we sell Dhamma, no matter what kind of form, if we ask for money directly, or if we ask, please, we need to survive, please give us some donations, that is selling Dhamma. And then we count the donations that come in, and then we act according to the wishes of the people who attend the course. So we can never tell them, okay, look at your body, it's full of shit. Because people don't like to hear that. They think of their body something as beautiful. Something as valuable, something that is the most precious thing in their whole life. And they die for it. They crave for it. And they do everything to remedy anything that it goes against their body. If it's sick, they run to the doctors. If it's not beautiful, they also run to the doctors, and try to get a facelift. or now in the West, a very a modern way is. I had a friend who was a doctor at that time, when I was still working. Some people who are fat, they go to the doctor to suck out the fat. And he told me, and he showed me some pictures. That room, the operation room, was such that fat, of the people that sucked out of their bodies. And in half a year later, they have the same problem. Because the fatness comes from their greed of food. It doesn't come, from a malfunctioning body. And then they go again, Just because they can't control their greed. And that's what happens to us when we see something for free. We can't control the greed. The moment it costs something, that is, for us, when we are raised in the West, is something, a measure, Okay, now you have to stop, I have only this much amount of money. Now I have to stop. Although I want some more. But if it's free, get it. Stuff it in. It's a wonderful way, not to sell Dhamma. Not even to ask for donation. Just give it freely as it is, Tanaja Mahaprabhu says, Dhamma has a price. But that price is so high that nobody in the world could afford it. So we give it for free. But because it's free, people don't value it. They think, a meditation course that costs, $100 a week, even if it's little, is much more worth it. Isn't it how we think normally? And then we go there. And then, of course, we are full. We get only the Dhamma that we like to hear. Just like we go to the movies, we go only to the movies that we like to see. Not to the movies that make us think. Not to the movies that are really telling us something, like the movie Narok. A brilliant movie who tells us, something about what is happening to most of us when we die. Go to hell. And then they describe the way and the path to hell. What they experienced the moment they died, but they were only in coma. From 5 persons, 2 of them came back. And then they told the story, what happened to them. The wardens of the hell, 5 minutes later after the accident, then they came, Okay, come with me. And if they didn't, they tracked them out. Okay, now you go here, now you go here. That's your working place. So two of them who came out of the coma, told about this and made a movie about it. It's such a great movie. To teach us something, we all want to know what is happening after life. And all what we know in the West is this bright light that comes, and embraces us, and leads us to a better life. That happens to a few people, but not to most of us it just doesn't happen. There are the fires of hell waiting for us. They embrace us such the same way, but it's rather hot and uncomfortable. You remember, I'm sure that you remember the books about death, life after death. they never told us anything that is cruel, anything that is really against. I mean, they told us such nice things.
All your family are there to greet you, your parents and friends.
And you see that warm light, and you go in, and then you just feel happy.
So you use the expression of Summerland.
Summerland, whatever kind of land it is, it's a fantasy land. So, and that is the same thing with Dhamma. I mean, if you want to sell it, I mean, we have to say what people like to hear, or what people can accept. So that there's one story. I mean, 20 years ago, I think it was Ajahn Suvat, who went to America. He was an Arahant, and he was invited by a meditation center to give a 3 weeks retreat. I mean, of course, he gave it for free. He just got his food in the morning. But they made one. They gave him one condition. Yes, thank you. They gave him one condition. I mean, you can talk about everything except Asubha. But because he was an Arahant, I mean, from the day he came, from the first evening to the last evening, 3 weeks, each day, Asubha, 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 and they were all so frustrated. They never invited him again. That's what we don't like to hear. We don't want to hear about all this ugliness in the world. We don't want to hear about all the ugliness of our body. We don't want to hear about all the ugliness in our character. That's all called Asubha. The things that are not beautiful. Subha is beautiful, and Asubha is everything that is not beautiful. Who wants to hear that he's a shithead? Do you? None of us. But every one of us wants to hear, oh, you're great, you're so kind, you are so full of matter, you're so smart, I mean, you're so powerful, you have so much money. That's all what we want to hear. But if somebody comes and says, so you're so full of shit, I mean, who wants to hear that? And who gives money for that, hearing that? I mean, isn't it? Huh? And then you come here to this place and you hear that. Not all the time, but once in a while. And we have to do this work. I mean, we have to start with it. Because, why? Because all our lives, and you remember, just remember this, all our lives, we were running after the pleasant things. After the pleasant sensation, after pleasant memories, after pleasant feelings, after pleasant thoughts or ideas, that we created, that excited us. I mean, for somebody who's highly educated, just a nice idea, it excites us for weeks. I mean, we can live on it, just like food. The food for the heart. Oh man, that is a great idea. And each time we work at it, you refine it and so on. And we live in a dream. And then somebody comes up, and just puts a needle in our balloon. And then, whoosh, it falls off. And we are frustrated. We are completely frustrated. Because our beautiful thing, our beautiful idea is gone. And then we try to fix it up, mend it, so that this person cannot come. And then this balloon, starts to blow and grow and grow and grow. And then another person comes and sticks another needle in. Whoosh, it goes down. That's one thing. And it's the same thing with our character. The friends that we have, normally only say nice things about us. So we like to be in company with them. But sometimes, it just happens that we meet a person and then he said, oh, I don't like your character, you're so, and you're so, I don't like this, you better don't show me this. And then we are frustrated, just the same way. We always run. All our life we run to the things or to the environments that give us pleasant feelings, comfort, be it physical comfort or be it, mental comfort, whatever. In all our life we're running away from the unpleasant situation. I mean, we don't like to stick with a friend who constantly tells us you're a shithead or you're full of shit. You stick around with a friend like this. No, we don't. So we run away. So the purpose of Asubha is just to bring all these unpleasant feelings that we all our life have run away from, bring it up to the surface and look at it. So to see it has been there all the time. We just refuse to look at it. Now we feel it, we bring it up and we experience it. What does it mean? What does it really mean? What is an unpleasant sensation? What is an unpleasant feeling? What is a painful feeling? What does it mean, a feeling of anger? What does it mean, a feeling of grief? What does it mean? Re-experience it. And stay with it, not running away from it. That's the whole purpose of Asubha. To get ourselves in touch with what we ran away all our life. Just to get in touch, to learn to deal with it. And once we learn to deal with all these unpleasant feelings, I mean feelings of sorrow, feelings of doubt, feelings of fear, I mean whatever they are all stored in our heart. They're all stored in the chitta. Bring them up, look at them, as long as we can. Once we can stay from the beginning to the end, okay, this one is finished. Then we'll bring up the next. If we can't stay to the end, the next time we sit again and do investigation, we bring it up and look at it. Until we can see it, okay, now it arises, now it's at its height, now it ceases, and it changes either into a neutral feeling or a pleasant feeling. Then we look at the pleasant feeling. Once we are confident with dealing with unpleasant feeling, we look at pleasant feelings. We always have the idea we can stay with pleasant feelings forever. No, we can't. Our mind, the moment we experience just the first tip of the iceberg of a pleasant feeling, our thoughts run, how can I get more of it? How can I create it again? How can I make it longer lasting? So we actually never experience the pleasant feelings. Because we are run away from the pleasant feeling, just like from the unpleasant feeling, with our thoughts. And it's much more difficult, I tell you. Much more difficult to stay with a pleasant feeling, see it arising, see it at its height, and see it ceasing. Because then we get depressed the moment. As long as it's on its height, we are, okay, yes. Then we see it, falling away, and our tears come up. We cry for it. And we want to make it again. So it's much more difficult to stay with a pleasant feeling than with an unpleasant feeling. But we have to understand why we have to stay with a feeling or re-experience a feeling. It's because we want to learn the true nature of the feeling. What does it mean? An unpleasant feeling. And then the more often we stay, we say, okay, what was all that noise about running away from this feeling? It just arises and ceases. Why make such a mess out of it? Why run away from it? It happens all the time. And then the longer we can stay with it or the more we practice it, we see it happens all day long. All day long it is. There it is, there it comes. And every moment it comes. Okay. And then you can sit in meditation and just observe it. Running, coming, going, coming, going, coming, going, coming, going. Changing into an unpleasant feeling, changing into a pleasant feeling. And then just be careful, not to run away for the pleasant feeling. Once we learn it, to deal with unpleasant feelings, once we try to understand the true nature of an unpleasant feeling, try to understand the nature of feeling. What is feeling? What is feeling? Just like we try to understand what is pain. Or just the same way we want to understand what is the body. What makes the body the body? Does the nose make the body? Does the eyes make the body? Does the ear make the body? Does the hair make the body? Does the arms or the legs or the brain or the heart or what makes the body? So, when we think, the brain makes a body, we put it out. But we still have a body. So that doesn't make the body. So we put the next thing that we think that makes a body. Until every part of the body is out there. And then we look at it. There's an assembly of body parts. But what is the body? There's a heart, there's a nervous system, there's a blood system. There's a liver, there's a kidney. They're all, scattered around. Is that the body? No, it's not a body. A body is just the right assembly of the parts in the right manner. That's all. It's a concept. But we think only of this concept. We always live in this world, in the world of concepts, in symbols, and we have so many symbols. All our words represent a symbol, or are symbols. And we cling to this symbol. Money is also a symbol. What does it mean? Piece of paper and I write a number on it? Yeah. And people kill themselves for these pieces of paper. Or even if it's gold, if it's real gold, they kill themselves for this. Can you eat it? What can you do with it? Can you rub it off on your skin so that your skin gets gold? What is it? That's just a symbol. But at the moment it empowers the whole world. Who has money has power. The more he has, the more power he has. And everybody wants it. Everybody runs for it. This job, it's satisfying, but that job just gives me $10 more a month. So I take that job. What can I do with these $10? And then we think, what we can do with these $10. Oh, okay, we can go to a show. Or if it's $100 or $1,000 more. Oh, I save it, for a year, and then I go, I go to America, or I go to South America, or to the Bahamas, or wherever. We think about this, and then when we go into this job, that is much worse than our previous job. We have to endure much more difficulties, or it's much harder, But we look only, we only see the money. We only see the numbers written. And each day we count up these numbers. We can't eat it. The best use with money is, just when you have a shit, to wipe off your ass. But even that kind of dirty money we wouldn't take, We want clean paper, to wipe our ass, huh? Even therefore it's not useful. So we live in this world of symbols, in our language, that has so many words. And each word, seems to be different from each other. That's why we try, in the practice, we try to make the life a little bit more simple. So we get down, filter each of the words, in which of the khandhas does it belong to? Sensation, body. Feeling, bodily feeling. Okay, body. Or feeling, doesn't matter. Memory. Okay, memory. Idea. What is the idea? Memory. Was it memory or thought? Okay. Was more memory? Okay, memory. Thought. Okay, thought. And so, do it. And suddenly, there are only 5 groups. There are only 5 words. It's body, feeling, memory, thought, and consciousness. That makes it so simple. There's no fear and so on and so on. No? Worries. No, there's body, memory, feeling, thought, and consciousness. Oh. How did that create from? How did that come about? I mean, we live in a world, that really does not exist. But if you bring everything, that is from out there in the world back to our reality, and the reality is there. I mean, you can feel the body. That's real. You can know your thoughts. Okay, that's real. You know your memories. Okay, this is a memory. That's real. And you can feel. Vedana, feeling. Okay, that's real. So we bring everything back, and see how these things are created. I mean, we have a feeling, and it's an unpleasant feeling, and sometimes we call this feeling, fear, sometimes we call it doubt. Or sometimes we call it worries. Let's go back, and just experience the feeling. Without giving it a label, because nothing else, a symbol, there's nothing label attached to a certain feeling. In a certain situation, of course. And then we try to experience it. Okay, feeling. Unpleasant feeling, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, pleasant feeling, neutral feeling, unpleasant feeling, pleasant feeling. Yeah. And nothing else is happening. Oh, amazing. I mean, where's all this world with all the symbols, with all the language? It just has disappeared because we made the word simple, understandable, comprehensible. Wonderful. And then we see how these things, work together to build these symbols. I mean, a memory comes up, with a memory is attached to a piece of feeling. We feel that. Then immediately a thought comes after that. That triggers a thought. That thought, it increases the feeling. Because it's always triggered by that thought, so it increases the feeling. This thought, triggers another memory, increases that feeling. And within a second or within a few minutes, I mean, we have raging hate or raging greed. We can't let go of something. Or we are so angry at somebody who just said a word, it just flowed in our ears. In the next moment, we feel it coming like a fireball. So we think, okay, that is real. But actually, it's not real. It was made up out of each component that we call us. And the 5 khandhas are the component that makes us. Nothing else. Whatever you think of yourself, I mean, you can put into one of the khandhas, into one of these groups. And then please tell me, go ahead and tell me if there is something else that you can think of that does not belong into one of these groups. And the combination of these groups and this fast interacting between these groups make or build up the illusion of a self, of a personality. Just like a handful of melted sugar, blown up, make us, the illusion that there is something. How do you call it? Sugar cake, cotton candy. Yeah, I mean that is completely looks different from sugar.
Just a big piece of fluff.
Yeah, it's a piece. It is much nicer than sugar because it's softer and so on and so on. But it comes from sugar. And a little bit of heat. And a little bit of air. And that is also something, we can use the four elements that everything. Each khandha consists of the 4 elements. So we just saw it in this example, just a bit of sugar with some heat, with some air, makes this cotton candy. So, the body is made out of these 4 elements, like water, like fire, like air, like earth. The same thing happens to feelings. Feelings are made out of the same elements. Water, fire, air, and earth. ต้องการจะต้องใครอ่ะ Can you move, Kai and Peter, can you move up a little bit so you can go into the... I mean, isn't it fantastic simple? And what do you make out of it? I mean, but we have to learn, we have to train our chitta to see this truth. I mean, and there's one opposing factor, that's called the avijja, that doesn't want to see the truth. Because it wants to stay in the illusion that we are. We are this or we are that. We are great or we are poor. We are depressed or we are happy. We are sick or we are healthy. We are strong or we are weak. I mean, avijja, it's the only interest of avijja to stay in this illusion that itself created out of these 5 khandhas. That's why the Lord Buddha teaches us to go back to these 5 khandhas and investigate each of these khandha until we see the true nature. And once we investigate it and see the true nature, I mean, we will become disillusioned. But of course, avijja is going to prevent it. It will trick us. I mean, the moment we go and see, and okay, now I'm coming close to the truth, avijja is just pulling out another truth. See, have you seen that before? And we're off the top. We're off the target. It brings up a new memory. Oh, I've seen that before. When was that? What did I do? And then 15 minutes later, oh, I completely forgot my practice. Avijja took us off the track. Because it's not interested. Avijja certainly is not interested to show us that it lives in an illusion. So there are too many people today, huh? That's why you don't get enough love. Nobody cares about you today, huh? That's why you come here, huh? And that avijja is the power that we have to fight. And it's a master of trickery. And that's why it's so difficult. So that's why we have to stay on the object, and not let our attention pass away from the object. Not to let ourselves being distracted from our object of investigation, or be just the object of karma. Not being distracted, the moment we see we are distracted, immediately pull our attention back to the object. I mean, is it the tip of the nose where we watch, breath coming in or out? Or is it the word Buddha, 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 Buddha? Or is it our object of investigation? Is it the hair of the head, or the hair of the body, or the skin, or the nails, or the teeth? Or is it inside part of the body? Or is it the disassembly of the body to understand the nature of the body? Or is the investigation of this object or that object? Or is it the investigation of pain? Or is it the bringing up of painful feelings or painful memories? Yes? I mean, we have to stick with the objects. And whatever pulls us off, we know these are the kilesas. And the kilesas are nothing else than the fangs of avijja. I mean, they are soldiers of avijja that sends out for us, no? To distract us from our task. I mean, that's the main aim of it. It doesn't want us to get to the truth. So, when we are within our practice, within a few months, we will understand the power of the kilesa. We see, we constantly see who is taking us away. And there's no justification. We sit down and we're going to want to practice for an hour samatha, sticking to the Buddha. And whatever brings us, whatsoever brings us away, takes our attention away from the Buddha, is nothing else than the power of the kilesa. So after a while, training like this, we understand the power of kilesa. We see what the kilesas are. But we just cannot give in to one of the justifications that kilesas tell us. Or this is like this, or this is like that, or you don't do this right, or you don't do that right. Because you stick to your object of investigation, or you stick to your breath, or you stick to the Buddha. So everything, that gets out of this is the kilesas. It's the power of the kilesas. No matter what they tell you. I'm going to die if I'm going to sit longer. It's a kilesas. I'm afraid that I'm ruining my body. It's a kilesas. My leg is numb, if I'm going to sit longer, my leg is ruined. It's a kilesas. We cannot, our bones are not so sharp, our bones are not so big to really close off the arteries of the legs. It's impossible. What we can do is, to sit on our nerves and become a numbness of the... But the nerves, we cannot break the nerves. They're pretty elastic. We cannot ruin them. The moment we stretch our legs, then it's painful. Because it's like a crippling, very, very painful crippling coming back. And the life, it takes, each sensation, the nerves is connected to, it brings back, it brings back in our memory or in our awareness. But then after a while, that's fine, the senses are just like the senses before. That's all what is happening. But we fool ourselves now. We are going to ruin, we cannot use this leg anymore. Not understanding what is really happening. Not looking at that moment, what is it, No, I'm not sitting on my tears, I'm just sitting on my nerve. It's just like the doctor gives you a injection, for anesthetic injection. For the numbness of the leg or for the torso or for whatever. You won't feel it. That's why he can operate it on it. He cut it open, he can stitch it up, without you feeling anything. And the moment the medicine, loses its effect, the feeling is coming back. Wonderful. Nothing has happened. And the thing is, he put it back into order. What was out of order, he put it back into order. Just like repairing our car. Whatever is old, is not functioning, is going to be replaced or mended. That's all. But what kind of thoughts are coming into our mind? Certainly not this kind of thoughts, Always the thoughts of fear, I'm going to lose my leg, or I'm going to ruin my body, or, that, I can't just take that in. It's all the power of the kilesas, nothing. That's all what is happening. It's so simple, it's so wonderfully simple. All that. It's just a projection. It seems, that all the elements in our body, behind us is a projector, and in the front we see a movie on the screen. It's just projection. Each element in our body or each element in the five khandhas, has a different projection on the screen. And then we assume, okay, there is this, this forms this kind of element. We learn it from childhood on. Wonderful. What has it to do with what is really happening? What has it to do with what is really going on? That's a good question, and that's what I invite you to do. After you finish, after you have gained enough calm in your samatha meditation, or anapanasati meditation, or Buddha meditation, then you go and investigate. Asubha. You can start with unpleasant memories coming up. Or you can start with the body. You just do the work. And you do the work. And you do the work. It is you dig the hole. You dig the hole. I mean, each time you do the work, it is just taking a shovel of earth out of the hole. But while you're in the hole, you don't see the hole. So you think it's not effective. I mean, you do your work, and you think this is not effective. I mean, the moment you climb out of the hole, you see the deepness or the depth of the hole and you understand. But then, then you think, you're fooled by the kilesas, and you say, the only thing that I have to do is, to look in the hole, But who digged the hole? The work of investigation digged the hole. Each time we take out a shovel, makes the hole deeper. Each time we take a shovel, gets us closer to freedom. But we only want to look. Okay, that's great, And then we are fooled, This looking, gives us the results. No, the work of shoveling, of taking a shovel and throwing it over our back. It's just like taking the roots of a plant out of a garden that ruins other plants. Each time. I mean, there's a lot of weed in our garden. So we have to take each weed. But in the beginning, it seems there seems to be only weed. Because we don't see the flowers because of all the weeds. So we go, and then, look at, there's a flower, and then we just swoop on this flower, and just see the flower. But the weed doesn't go away by it. Just stay there as it is, and it still grows, and it makes it more difficult for the flower to plant. Now what we have to do is the work, the constant work of investigation, the constant work of samatha. I mean, that brings the results, the by effect, it's a side effect of our work, brings the results. In samatha, it brings the calm, in the happiness, in the contentedness. In investigation, it gets us one step closer to freedom. But if we forget to do the work, no freedom will come. I mean, we stay the whole day and admire, our work that we have done before. But our work is not getting further. Actually, the more we admire it, sand from the outside of the room, drops in the hole. And if you wait long enough, there's no hole anymore. And then we feel frustrated and give up meditation, and that's the end of our practice. So, this I give to you for your contemplation. And with this I end the talk. So if there are some questions, feel free to ask them. You understand most of it? Sachai?
John, I have a question about the khandhas. That's body, feeling,
memory,
consciousness.
No, thought and consciousness.
Thought and consciousness.
And memory, with memory comes all the associations, all the labels. I mean, to see a tree as a tree is a memory. To decide a feeling is greed, or decide a feeling is hate, or decide a feeling is this depression, or that's all memory, work of memory. So memory is, it's really the hard part, to get that.
For those of us who aren't at the point of samadhi and are still working on our Buddha,
yes.
Are the khandhas something that we need to think about or use or apply to bring us back to the Buddha?
After a while. Yes, after a while you have trained the Buddha. After 2 or 3 weeks, you only train the Buddha or you only train the Anapanasati. It is helpful, just for 1 hour in the day, to do some reflection. It can be just thinking about your life and all the unpleasant feelings you had or experiences you had in your life. Just bring them up. Or it can be just of the nature of death of your body. That you were born, that you got sick, that you are getting old, and that you're going to die. Just reflecting about this. Just 1 hour a day, but the rest of the day you still do samatha. until the mind is really able to stick to a point, to the same object for 10 to 15 minutes. And then you can start to increase investigation. But this kind of investigation also will lead to some kind of calmness. So it will help your samatha. It will help your samadhi. Because some of the problems that trouble you to get into samadhi, you can deal with investigation or wisdom. Whilst you are reflecting on it, seeing that you always had this dukkha, seeing that it's coming from your own karma, you can reflect on karma, that whatever happens to us is the result of our own deeds. So we don't have to be angry at other people. This kind of work, that after 3 weeks, we can start with it, with this daily reflection. Or we can look through the day. Or we can look at the habits of eating. How do we eat? Do we have any mindfulness while eating? Or we just grab the things that we like and stuff it in? And we don't even notice when the stomach tells us now it's full, now it's enough. Because we still see the things that we like to eat, so we still stuff it in. These things, we can do with this kind of reflection. Uses some sort of, uses thought and it uses memory. Just a lot of things, that come up from the past. We can deal with it, and we can get rid of it. And as I said in the beginning, if I can't deal with the feeling, it comes up and strong, okay, then stop it. And next time you bring it up again until you can stay with it, from the beginning to the end. Just stay with it. Don't make any fuss about it. Don't make any assumption about it. Just stay and experience the feeling just like you experience the breath or just like you experience the Buddha. And a lot of troubles that prevent us to get into samadhi, more deeper into samadhi, will go.
And if I have an intrusive, when I have thoughts come in, while I'm trying to just stay with the Buddha.
Yeah.
Am I able to use the khandhas to classify what that intrusive thought is, so that I can put it away and get back to the Buddha? Oh, that's thought. Okay, back to the Buddha.
Yeah. Okay.
That's feeling. That was just body.
Yes. You can do that, but you have to know that. If it helps you, you can do that for a few weeks or 1 week and see, and you will have the feeling it stabilizes your samadhi. But it's actually not the work of samadhi. We still do some investigation, and we should not. In the end, we should not mix up investigation with samadhi. When we do samadhi, we don't allow any thought to come in. That's how we really enter upachara or appana samadhi. Just be aware that you're just helping yourself at the moment, but you really do not do samadhi. If you know that, then it's fine. We have to know what we are doing. In each moment, we have to know what we're doing. So when we do samadhi, that means every thought, every memory, every feeling is swept out of our memory. You can do it very carefully. Okay, I'm not interested. And you will see that helps. Just being not interested in what is coming up. Or you can do it, but that is much more of an investigation. So I wouldn't do it constantly, just once in a while. On the main focus and then go back, the main focus. But then use another meditation. Now I sit another hour, now I do only samatha. And then the next hour you say, okay, now it was so difficult, let's this meditation, try, to put all the thoughts and feelings into their respective khandha. Okay, once this meditation is over, you decide to do samatha, and then you do only samatha. Only Buddha, or only the breath. And then you decide, now I'm going to do investigation. I want to bring up all my unpleasant memories from the past. Okay, then you do that. But if it becomes too much, you don't, while this time, you just don't jump over to samatha. Now that's so unpleasant. I want my Buddha. No. Then stick to it. I mean, change your object or change your memory, bring up another memory, look at it, But stick to the investigation. Don't mix these two things up.
John, what is samatha?
Calmness meditation. It's the observation of the breath, or it's a Buddha. Samatha means calm. Just by bringing the mind to a certain level of calmness. That's why it's called samatha, calmness meditation, and vipassana, insight meditation, or wisdom, developing wisdom. Reflection, investigation is leading to wisdom. That's called vipassana. And samatha is called calm, because you concentrate just in one point. And whatever comes in, we are not interested. We just chuck out, sweep out.
Do you like you yourself? Do you say have you used said in your mind not interested or visualize sweeping away?
Yeah, I said it in the beginning. It was so difficult. I said I just said not interested. No. That helped. Oh, sometimes, it was so much, I put, in front of myself, I put a machine gun, and every thought that came, I shot off. Just like this, But then when 90% of the thoughts didn't come anymore because they were all dead, the tricky ones came up. And with these tricky ones, you had to deal with each one, personally. You just couldn't use a machine gun, you had to use a decker, personally, confront him. No, you're not allowed here. Go. You are not allowed here as well. You have no value, you have no right to be here at the moment. Go. But they're tricky. No, I have a very important message. It's so utterly important, it's so life important, You might lose your life if you don't listen to me. No. These are the very tricky ones. You always have to say no. Now it's time. Samatha. Whatever you think about your mother, whatever you think about your parents, your situation, not allowed. Nothing. Even if it gives you the urge, this is life important, that is the idea of my life. Forget it. That is difficult. Yeah, it's difficult. 95% of the thoughts you just can sweep out. You take a big broom and swept out. But the 5% are the tricky ones. In the beginning, not so tricky, but they become more and more tricky. They pull you off, and you will see it how they pull you off, and then you understand how they pull you off, and you say no again, no, wait, you cannot enter. You are not allowed to enter. Stop, yut. Determination. Not to allow anything in the mind. Whatever you find useful, you can use it as a method. But just know, in the end, you have to stick to Anapanasati, or you have to stick to the Buddha. Concentrate on one point. But in the beginning, just use any method, to get rid of the most important, of the massive. Don't feel sorry for yourself, because these are also the kilesas. You're coming here, the moment you sit down, I can do it. No matter what. If he can do it, I can do it. If she can do it, I can do it. Chris, you can do it. No problem. Why shouldn't you be able to do it? Look at your sister, she can do it. Huh? To say, I'm so helpless, I'm so bad, I can't do that. That's just the kilesa.
Yeah, exactly.
You just tell them, who the hell are you? I can do it if I want to. And you go ahead and do it. Okay. If there are no more questions, I'm quite exhausted. Last night I was talking about, was it 8 or 9 hours? The German monk came from another Wat, and we talked from 5 o'clock in the evening to 3 o'clock in the morning. Not any interruption. Just about practicing in our experience and practice.